Okay, here we are for the first Kung Fu discussion group. I am Brad Ruka. You can find me on Twitter at Uncle Sickness. My website is sicknesskungfu.com. Next, we have my man, Matt Peterson.
Hey,
Introduce yourself.
YogaMidnight on Twitter and Instagram. Soon to be website. I own YogaMidnight.com, but you won't find a lot there except for a park space.
And my newest disciple.
My name is Alex. I go by MaekoDaekal on Twitter. On Instagram, I'm Titanium Long. It's mostly just dog pics, but yeah, my Twitter's quite fun.
Excellent, and I can vouch for that. Yeah, he has the spiciest memes. All right, so today we're gonna have this first episode open up with my personal favorite martial arts style, Xingyiquan. I've been practicing this style for about 20 years at this point. Matt's got a good decade or so in, I would say, unless I'm mistaken.
Yep, I think maybe 13 years technically, you know.
Ah, nice. I thought you had that much time in, but I wasn't sure. And Alex has actually recently just expressed an interest in learning, so we've got a nice range of experiences here. We can get some.
I thought Alex practicing hadn't or you had been teaching in Bagwajan. Is that the case?
Yeah, I was learning. It was Liu style Bagwajong, right?
Cool.
Yeah. Liu Daquan's 64 hands, the straight line, the Xingyi style of Bagua.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I was practicing at the Gardener, and then after that, I've been doing my best to practice it as much as I can, reading up on Uncle Sickness, sicknesskungfu.com, and so on. And I have my own list of literature that I actually have back here somewhere that I've been just reading up on. Some of Dr. Yong's books that I have.
Cool.
I've been looking up to try to get all of his books. If I can't get them on ebook, I'll get them in physical copy and just read them all. And I actually am almost finished with Strategy and Change, which is another book on Bagwajong. Excellent reading.
Yes, and Matt, you'll know the author of that book. It's our good friend Tom Bizio.
I don't know too much about Tom Bizio, but he had a missed connection. He almost basically I was practicing Xingyi at the cash register at Trader Joe's when I worked there, and this lady was like, "My neighbor does Xingyi." I was like, "Oh yeah," and then he was like, "I have too many students. You can learn with my friend Martin," and he became my second teacher for a few years, and then we just sort of parted ways. But yeah, I don't know too much about Tom, but Brad says that there's a lot of explicit and questionably accidental errors in the books.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This book that Alex mentioned, Strategy and Change. There's another one that's an expansion. I think it's called Beyond the Battlefield. It's basically looking at connections between Bagwajong, the I Ching, and military strategy with some other miscellaneous types of information like philosophy, meditation and stuff sprinkled in there. Those types of informational books that he writes are solid. But if you get one of his martial arts books, he's helped put out a couple of books on Hebei Xingyiquan. One is on the Five Fists and the Five Fist linking form. The other one is on 4 types of breathing techniques for developing Xingyi Neigong. That book, it says explicitly, one of the first things it says in the book is, you will not be able to learn from this book because we have deliberately handicapped it, basically. You need to buy access on our website to whatever, and there's this whole extra thing you got to go through in order to actually get any information out of the book.
You know what's bullshit about that? Because so many people do that, and not just with martial arts, but it's been my experience. It's like Burroughs said, you can't show somebody something that they've never seen before, and Socrates said that everything, learning is an act of memory.
Yeah.
And it's you could give somebody this explicit masterpiece of martial arts, and they probably wouldn't process it. You know what I mean? It would probably just collect dust and cobwebs on the shelf forever.
Yes.
It's people could because I've had times where I was just like, this book is like a Bible to me. This is like a really powerful book. And they're like, great knowledge. And then it's like, yeah, I know you're not reading it. I know you haven't done anything. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's sitting in a box on your table and your cat is fucking sleeping on it.
You could give people the key to immortality and then they'd be like, oh, where's that key? You know, and they left it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure we've all seen somebody do this. They walk in with their glasses on their face or up on their forehead. I can't find my glasses anywhere. I'm sure I don't know where they are.
Yeah, awesome.
But you know, when it comes to the like martial arts chicanery, the deliberate misinformation or the petty, greedy mindset, I don't have any patience for that at all. You know, I've generally said it in two ways. I don't have a scarcity mindset, so I'm willing to give you everything that I have.
Whoa, cool.
But I've also said, and Matt, you might remember this from back in the day, it doesn't matter if I give you all my secrets. I've got over a decade head start. You are never going to catch me.
Totally. That's just what it is. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so that like you can make up for time with hard work, but if you aren't going to put in hard work, you better be damn talented. And the talent makeup only works if the person you're trying to catch isn't also talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I've been showing my girl History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi, the anime. It's about a dorky kid in high school who wants to learn martial arts so he can try and get with a sexy martial arts girl that he meets. It's a little pervy, it's a little humor, it's a little slice of life, but whatever. So we're just getting into the point where he meets this kid that he's kind of friends with, kind of enemies with, definitely martial arts rivals with. And the enemy friend explicitly says at one point, you know, hard work can make up for a lack of talent, but I also work hard and have talent. And then he wipes the floor with somebody who didn't have as much talent. But you know, anime references, dorkiness aside, that attitude is really where it's at when it comes to martial arts, especially with something like Xingyi, where because it doesn't have the frills, the flowery hands and embroidery kicks that a lot of styles, performance-oriented styles, do nowadays. You can tell, you know, if you meet somebody and they tell you, you know, I practice Xingyi or I'm a Xingyi man or whatever, that's somebody to take seriously. If somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, I've been practicing Xingyi for 6 years." Oh, okay. Would you mind showing me? Well, I'm not really supposed to. Yeah, right. You've been doing Xingyi for 6 years. You don't practice. Not that I'm referencing somebody we all know, but
I have no idea who you mean.
Yeah, but I mean, the simplicity and directness of Xingyi really permeates the entire system. It's not just in the way that it applies its techniques. It's not just in the strategy for fighting. It's also in the strategy for training. Everything is stripped down to the most efficient, the most direct. This is the shortest distance to this goal. We want to make sure that you have solid structure, so we stand like this.
Yeah, you know, that's actually, I think one of like part of the benefit that I ended up developing from, like, so I also teach yoga. When I did yoga teacher training, it's like you learn a postural sequence, whatever. At some point, something just clicked, and I figured out how to like take it apart and kind of put it together in a way that was useful, which I think is like very probably a result of having practiced Xingyi for so long, because it was like, yeah, you could do like an hour and a half of like postures or whatever, but like, you know, in reality, it's like you do this like brass tacks, like 30-minute like pranayama and like stretch exercise. It's just a really good, you know, total body workout, you know. And I think that Xingyi taught me to kind of do that, like take it like where it's like, all right, I got to go to work, and like now, like I'm gonna move my spine around first. You know what I mean? Like kind of breaking it down to like
Yeah.
the different levels of simplicity.
Yeah, the Xingyi prizes usefulness a lot more than most other martial arts.
Yeah.
And it's really obvious in those types of things. If you're really working with the exercises, even if it's just Santi share, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. If you're standing every day, it's not going to be long before you start to see how easy it is to actually build yourself up with just static standing. A lot of people scoff at the idea of standing in a fixed position, like a standing meditation. That's not going to develop any muscle. I had an argument with somebody for a couple of years about that, and then showed him, like, look, just like, look around my place. You see, I don't have any weights. I don't lift weights. I do push-ups and I stand like this, and then I roll my sleeve up. Look at my arm. Wow, bro. Like, you can have it too. Well, I got to lose this gut first. That's sucker thinking, like, you think you're taking it step by step, but that's not step by step.
Yeah.
You don't have to get ready to prepare to start. You can just start.
I was living with this dude, a friend from high school in Drake, who we're not friends anymore. And like, we're just like lived together for 2 months. And he was into lifting weights. Cool. And then he was interested in martial arts. He's a mouth breather. That's just a side thing. He literally can't breathe out of his nose. But he was like, oh, I met this guy does like, what's the Kwame Gra? He's like, I met this guy I might do Kwame Gra. I might do blah, blah. It's like, why don't you do Kwame Gra then? And he was like, yeah, I'm not ripped enough yet. Maybe in like 9 months. It's like, never. You're never gonna never gonna have those ideal conditions. You're not jacked enough yet, you fucking idiot. What are you
right? You're gonna go from looking like Akhenaten without a shirt on to Arnold Schwarzenegger in 9 months. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, also, like, his first class, like, he's gonna take his shirt off or something, or try. It's like,
why would you take off your shirt in class?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like bleeding.
It's like, you've never done this before. Why would you be trying? It's like you're trying to like get some kind of points on like a purely superficial level with these strangers. But
no. See, I find that amusing. At no point in all the times that I've taught have I ever been like, and now's the part where we're going to take our clothes off together. No. The only time I've ever told somebody to take something off was the very first time I had a private lesson. This kid shows up in a leather jacket that would be 2 sizes too big for me. And this kid was not my size. This kid was maybe like 5'5". He shows up with this giant leather jacket. It's clearly brand new because it's stiff as all hell. And he's standing there. I'm like, oh, why don't you take your jacket off? No, I'm good. It's part of my style. I look off. Okay. And I was teaching him Xingyi because that was the only thing I was qualified to teach at the time. So I show him, this is the basic posture, Santi share. This is how you take the posture. This is how you stand in it. This is how you end standing as an exercise. When I mirrored him, when I stood there opposite him and like did like mind control side eye and I did the motions in time with him, he was able to do it perfectly.
Cool.
But then when I stood there and crossed my arms and said, okay, now you do it, show me. We got this like, this like pterodactyl screech noise, like, lifting the fat kid up over the fence when you're 10 years old type of motion. And I'm just like, this really isn't going to work. Like, you need to take your jacket off. And he's like, I can do anything you can do while wearing this jacket. Okay.
The jacket, dude.
I go, okay, do this. He goes, I'll take the jacket off. And then we start, and it was fine. And that was the beginning of my teaching career. But yeah, that kid is also the leader of the group. I think you've both heard the story. I asked them after like 6 months, why did you want to learn martial arts? And they told me this fantastic story about how they were going to form a terrorist cell to take down the president of the BU. No.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah. You don't remember that
story?
All right.
Ooh,
So
let me get comfy here.
basically the short version is I start teaching this kid about a month in. He brings me some friends. Another month in, they bring a few more friends. It gets up to about 16, 17 people regularly. And they're all these like typical Boston college dorks, you know. They came from small town America, USA. They moved to Boston to go to BU and Northeastern and Berkeley. And they, of course, get the appropriate ideological indoctrination, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And this was right around the time that Boston University was about to open a biological research lab in the Jamaica Plain section of Boston. So 6 months go by. I ask them, why do you want to learn martial arts? Expecting answers like, I want to get healthy. I want to learn how to defend myself. I want to beat up people that make me mad. Like I'm expecting normal responses, but instead I get this rambling tale of, you know, righteous terrorism where we're going to go break into this guy's house and kidnap him and make him stop the school from opening the lab. Meanwhile, the lab had opened up a few months before, so it's like you can't stop something that's already happened. But yeah. Needless to say, I was like, lose my number, don't contact me. If you see me in the street, don't say hi because I'm not going to acknowledge you. Just don't do that. Absolutely do not do that.
It sucks.
But yeah, that was the end of my first round of private students. So needless to say, go ahead.
Full disclosure, I definitely was taking my shirt off more when I was practicing Xingyi in the beginning. But it was really hot in summer at that point.
Yes. Actually, one time, Alex hasn't heard this story. I used to live over by Forest Hill Cemetery in Jamaica Plain, by the Forest Hills Tea Stop.
Oh, hang on.
I was walking through with my girlfriend at the time, a girl named Amanda, and I had just started teaching Matt Xingyi not too long before. And she's like, oh, so how's that going? Oh, yeah, it's going pretty good. He seems to be, you know, he's enthusiastic. He seems to be picking it up well enough. You know, it's not like pulling teeth like with some other people. As we come around this one corner, off in the distance, we see somebody with no shirt on, but a hat and like dark jeans. And she says, hey, look, it's somebody doing martial arts. I go, oh yeah, nice. She's like, wouldn't it be funny if we got closer and it was Peterson? And I kind of like, you know, like, what? Why would you, you know, whatever. Well, we get closer and I go, holy shit, it is Matt. And he's out there doing the Xingyi he had learned so far with no shirt on. It's just like, and she starts making fun of me like I'm the one with no shirt on. Like, what the fuck? So, you know, like I took it kind of the wrong way and was like, yeah, there's no shirtlessness in our martial arts, dude. But like, oh yeah, she held that shit over me for like a year.
Really? Fuck her.
Yeah, oh yeah, constantly like getting in my face. Well, your boy Matt walks around without a shirt on, and like she'd say that to me at weird times. I'd be like, I'm not wearing a shirt. I'm in the fucking shower. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why